Hi y'all, my name is Megan. This is my channel about cross stitching quilting. Thanks for joining me today. First, it's been a month and a week, so this video is a week past due. My daughter is actually napping right above me in the nursery, so we'll see. She should nap for the duration of this video, but we'll see. So a lot has happened in the past 5-ish weeks. In my last video, I told you I had 2 vacations scheduled, so I took those. The first one, my husband and daughter and I went to visit my in-laws in Florida. They are snowbirds, so they actually live just like 3 minutes drive-in distance from our house here, but they winter in Florida. So we went down there for about 5 days, and it was really, really nice. They just got a pontoon, so that was a blast with the baby. And they got her own little fishing pole, and it has a little rubber fish on the end of it, so she just drug it up and down the boat while we were actually fishing, and she loved it. And you can, cast it. We cast it into water for her, and then she reeled it back in. She had a blast with that. We did a little bit of swimming. We played some card games when she went to bed. What else did we do? We had Mother's Day in Florida, so my husband and my father-in-law grilled a nice meal for us, so that was sweet. And then I think that's about, oh no, so we went to a splash pad. There's a church close by that has a huge playground and splash pad, so we went there and put the baby in her bathing suit, and she had the time of her life. It was hilarious. She has a big old belly, and so we put her in a little two-piece so her belly's hanging out, and she's just running through. At first we weren't sure. She likes water, she likes pools, but we weren't sure what to expect from her because the fountains would, go up and stop and then go up and stop. But she went over head first, put her hand on top of the fountain, moved it, sprayed herself in the face multiple times, laughing and smiling and giggling. Oh, it was a blast. It was super hot. It was like in mid-90s, but it was a blast to watch her. So that was probably the highlight of the trip, is just watching her squeal and scream and screech when she's getting sprayed by the water. So then after that, we flew back home on a Tuesday, and our flight got delayed a lot. I forget what time we were supposed to leave. Maybe like 4, and our flight didn't actually leave till 8 o'clock. So my husband and I got in bed at midnight, and he had to get up at 5 the next day and go to work, so that was a little rough. It was really rough with the baby. She did not sleep on the plane. I lied. She fell asleep 30 minutes before we landed. So the first 2 hours she spent screaming. So we were those people, but everyone around us was really sweet about it. They were telling us, oh, she's so little, give her a break, and, she's just tired, so that was nice. But then, so we got home midnight, I guess. We got home our flight landed at like 10:45, 11 o'clock. So the next day, Wednesday, at like 10 a.m., I had a flight out to Louisiana to see my sister and my brother-in-law and my new baby nephew. And he's so itty bitty. He was born, I think, 6 pounds, 4 ounces, I want to say. And that's, like I mentioned before, that's really small for our family. So my daughter was 8'13". My sister and I were like right around that same weight, 8'9", 8'14". So we were expecting a big baby, but he's a tiny little guy. And he just had his 1 month. He's almost 6 weeks now. He'll be 6 weeks on Wednesday, I believe. And at his 1 month appointment, he was 7 pounds, 10 ounces. So he gained a lot of weight, still tinier than the chunk that I delivered. But he is adorable, tiny little bit of fuzz, the skinniest little thing ever. But this is the first baby that I've been around and spent time with since I've become a mom. So it was really neat because I wasn't afraid of breaking him over the head, or, I knew how to support his head. I knew, if he was fussy when I was rocking, then I'll stand up and bounce. And if that didn't work, then I'd sway. So I had some tricks in my bag, to kind of help out mom and dad a little bit, but that was a blast. And my sister and I were able to go to the cross stitch store, and I'll show you that haul later. She planted her garden, but it was still early, so nothing was ripe yet. Normally I'll go down in like July, and then by then she has all her basil and her tomatoes are ripe, so I just cut up the tomatoes and basil and eat bruschetta all the time. Oh my gosh, this is so delicious. I have basil and tomatoes growing in my garden, so hopefully that works out for me. So yeah. Oh, and then my sister has a floss tube too. I'll link her below. Her channel is called Homegrown and Handmade. And while we were down there, we did a little Q&A and trivia session together. So that was the last video that I posted. And she posted the same video on her channel too. So if you're interested, you should go give her a follow. If you are or have seen my videos before, you'll realize that this is not the normal backdrop. Okay, it was like a 70s radical going on. That's because I am in my dining room for a couple of reasons. My craft room, my sewing room is too messy. I don't feel like cleaning it. And I have too much stuff to show y'all, and I didn't have anywhere to put it that was accessible besides me like reaching up and down on the floor back and forth. So I was sitting in my dining room. But we've been in this house for almost, in a month, it'll be 3 years, and we still have like hardly anything on the wall. So this entire wall is gray with nothing on it. So I was like, you know what, we need some kind of backdrop. So this is a quilt that I made. This is the backing of a quilt. And I'll put a picture, or I should have put a picture in the intro slideshow for you. It was the one with the bluish green stripes and the gray or black stripes with it. And I ice dyed all this fabric and the blue and green stripes that were on the front of the quilt. And I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. And this was a quilt I tested for a woman on Instagram, and you can't see it here, but I did wavy lines. I free motion quilted wavy lines, and it's super puckery and dense and heavy, and it is just perfect. Last summer I brought it out in the front yard when I brought my daughter out, and we'd sit on it and play and roll around and stuff. So it's like the perfect picnic quilt. So that's what it is. And fair warning, I did not pen this up with like nails or push pins or anything, because my husband would have a heart attack putting more holes in the wall, because we have filled so many holes in the walls over these last 3 years from the previous owners. So it's taped up there with painter's tape. So I fully expect at some point during this video that the entire thing will collapse, and if it does, you can enjoy my gray walls, because I'm not putting it back up. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh yeah, so May 30th, my husband and I celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary, and we have been together for 15 years. We're both 31. So we always said, when we started dating, we were 16, and we always said, can you imagine when we're 32, if we're still together, we'll have been together for half of our lives. So that will be next year. It'll be 16 years together and 8 years married. So we don't know what, but we want to plan some kind of trip, because it's just like a big milestone, a big event. I mean, a lot of people who are married for a while will eventually be able to say, you know, I've been married for half of my life or over half of my life. But the fact that we can say it, or I've been together for over half my life, but we can say it at 32, which is pretty young. So that's fun. We didn't actually do anything. Part of it, well, my in-laws just got back last week from Florida, so they're the babysitters, so they weren't here yet for our anniversary. And then we always do the traditional gifts. So this year it was either copper or wool. And there is just nothing that I could think of that I wanted with copper or wool. Like, I don't want wool socks or sweaters. It's 90 degrees outside. Copper, like, I was stretching. I was like, maybe some copper scissors for cross stitching, or maybe I can cross stitch something that has copper thread, but even that didn't feel appealing. So as of now, I'm skipping the 7th anniversary gift, which my husband is really bummed about. Surprisingly, he is a Mr. Tradition, and he likes, you know, our traditional gifts. And I'm like, listen, I'm more than happy to give you a gift containing copper or wool, but I just don't want to waste the money. There's nothing I want, so whatever I get, which is, oh, the quilt's about to fall. Okay, we'll see how long it lasts. Yeah, so, oh, but we did have, one of our traditions is to have Chicago deep dish pizza, because the first night of our honeymoon, we had to fly to Chicago and spend the night there to catch a plane down to Punta Cana. And so in Chicago, we stayed in a hotel right on the airport, and we ordered in Chicago deep dish pizza. So every year we get that. So he did bring that home this past weekend, and that was really sweet. And we've decided, before we even had our daughter, we were like, you know what, that'll be our way to celebrate our anniversary with our kids around, like family style kind of thing, because they'll enjoy the pizza, we'll enjoy the memories associated with the pizza, and then the two of us will go out for our anniversary together. Here's the gray wall. That lasted a lot less time than I thought it would. Oh well, we're gonna keep going with it because, you know, I'm on borrowed nap time here. Okay, next thing, nursing school. I am in nursing school, was in nursing school. Semester's over, passed all my classes. Woohoo! 1 semester down, 3 semesters to go. The fall semester starts like August 25th, 26th, I believe. And I'll be doing med-surg and mental health. So don't knock it till you try it, right? I'm not thinking mental health is going to be what I want to go into, but we'll see. You never know. And then the last thing for updates-wise in terms of life is my daughter is 20 months. She'll be 21 months June 10th. And we are potty training. We are 6 weeks into potty training. I'm sorry, whoa, not 6 weeks. 6 days into potty training. We're doing the oh crap potty training method. I heard a lot of good things about it. A girl I know potty trained her son at like 21, 22 months using it. So I'm off for the summer. So I knew I was going to potty train this summer because she turns 2 September 10th. So it's not very early. First 2 days, your kid has to be butt naked and you're locked in a room in your house and you basically stare at their butt all day. And the minute they pee or poop, you scoop them up and put them on the potty. And you say, pee goes in the potty, poop goes in the potty. I have never looked at a butt so long in my life. But at least it was a cute one. So we did that. We got through that. We're on day 6. And so far today, she's in the same pair of pants that she's been in all day. We're halfway through the day, but we're more than halfway through her waking hours. We've been in these pants for 6 hours. So this is a potty miracle. I'm really hoping that it continues. The book tells you that to expect a day of regression, and I really hope that yesterday was that day of regression because the first 4 hours were good, and then after that, it was all downhill. She was bucking like a bronco when we were bringing her to the potty and sitting her on the potty and thrashing around and screaming and crying and hitting us and like peeing in her pants, telling us she has to pee. We put her on the toilet, she doesn't do it. Stand up 2 minutes later, she's peeing in her pants. We went through 7 to 9 pairs of pants yesterday. I am not exaggerating. In like 6 hours. It was ridiculous. So, but today, much, much better. And I know she's learning. My husband and I keep reminding each other. When one of us gets frustrated, we're like, you know, she's learning. She's learning. She's getting it. You know, a week ago, she has no idea what a potty was, and she never would have peed in it. And here we are 6 hours in, and all the pee is in the potty. So hopefully by the time my June video rolls around, I'll be able to say that I am the mother to a 21-month-old who is fully daytime potty training. We are not tackling nighttime potty training until like maybe Christmas. I'm gonna give her some time to get the daytime down before we tackle nighttime. Okay, on to what you're all here for, which is the cross stitch. And if I keep looking down, it's because I have a huge list here of notes I had to write because I got a lot of stuff to say. Okay, so the whip I have spent the most time on. It's in a Q snap, so I'm just going to leave it there. It is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. Hold on, let me finish the stitch real quick, and then my needle and thread will be in the back. Okay. Oops. So I started this on April 19th this year because I was inspired by Americana April, and my sister had given me this pattern for a birthday or Christmas probably a year or 2 ago, and I am stitching it on, I don't know, 25 count. I think it's a Lugana, and I'm doing it 1/1, which I've figured out is like my sweet spot. I really love like the coverage and using one thread. So yeah, I love it. This clearly will not get done before July 4th because in a month and a half, this is the progress I've made. And now I'm stay-at-home mom, so it's either nap time or bedtime. So I think my goal for July 4th is going to be finish all of this and then see how much I can get on the red or with the stripes, or the red and white with the stripes. So we'll see. This white, I switched it out. Let me pull it up here. I forget what it called for, maybe like antique lace, I think, but I switched it out for white lightning. And I only bought one at the time because I wasn't sure which white I was going to use, so I didn't want to buy, I don't know how many skeins it calls for, but like 4 skeins of white if I'm not going to use that color. So I'm running low on the white lightning, so I ordered it again. And we all know that dye lots vary, and this dye lot varies a lot. Let's see. I don't have my actual first skein of white lining here because, I don't know, it's somewhere else. But this is the 2 skeins I just purchased. And you can tell there is a lot of gray in there. My first skein, I couldn't even tell it was an over dye because it just looked plain old white. So I don't think it's gonna happen, but I really, really hope I can finish the stars in this first skein so that the middle is not dark and variegated and the outsides are all white. It'll just be all white. And then the white and gray variegation is fine throughout the rest of it. That doesn't bother me. I just really hope I can get these stars finished with the original white skein. But we shall see. Lessons learned, right? When I figured out my color, I should have just ordered a bunch then, but I didn't. Okay, my next whip is something I bought myself for Mother's Day, which I mentioned in my last video. I said I bought some things, but we're gonna have to wait because I wasn't gonna bust it out until Mother's Day because I didn't want to open it yet. I was being good, and I was good. And it's a pattern from Etsy called, oops, not in there. Oh poop, I hope it's in here. And all the zipping you're hearing is my project bag on steroids. Remember? Oh y'all, I don't think I came prepared. Oh yes I did. It's in one of the pockets with a different project and they have like nearly the same color fabric, so I missed it. Okay, so let's see, is the pattern here? It is. But the pattern is just a picture of the chart, so I will insert somewhere over here a picture of the chart from Etsy. But it's a little black and white checkered like jar, and it says be happy, and then it has some flowers. So this was a brand new start because I did not start it until probably like the 15th or 16th of May. And I am doing this 2/2 on 28 count vintage smoky white. And here is my progress. And I think it's adorable. This right here is going to be a bee, so that's why it looks a little funky. I haven't done the yellow for the bee yet, but the whole jar is done, the be happy is done, all the filling is done, and I started up here on the stems and the leaves. So I don't think, most of the colors I'm using are not called for colors. They're all DMC, but I have a fair bit of DMC now because I did those woodland animals for my sister for her son's nursery, and most of those colors are like yellows, browns, tans, blacks, grays, beiges, neutrals, and those are the colors that I needed for this. So I just pulled ones that I liked and went with it. I mean, they're all pretty close to the called for DMC, but they're just not exact. If you happen to be interested in those colors, just leave a comment below and then I'll, you know, write down what they are. Okay. Oh, so this new one, I have another new whip, but these are my only 3 whips, is from Lizzie Kate, and it's out of print. I don't know when it was last printed, but it is the Holly and Hearts Mystery Sampler Club. It is obviously no longer a mystery. This is what it will look like. when it's done. And I love it. So when I went to visit my sister, she has an L&S, so we went there and they had this whole it's a 3-part sampler, so it's, you know, part 1, part 2, part 3. So they had the whole thing kitted up with all the charge floss and the fabric. And then aside from that was one kit. And then aside from that, they had part 1. And I was like, well, I don't want the kit and I'm not gonna buy just one part. So that evening I went online and I found from 2 different websites that had the charts. And so I ordered the charts from the 2 different websites and they both got there really quickly within a week. And then I gave one whole set to my sister for part of her Mother's Day and birthday gift. Her birthday is July 30th. And then I gave one whole set to my mom as part of her Mother's Day gift. And the 3 of us are doing it as a sal. And so we have started it, and we just started it on Saturday because that was when my mom was able to get her thread and floss from her L&S, because when she went up to visit my sister, the first weekend of June, Memorial weekend actually, she went to visit my sister and they were closed. My sister's L&S was closed, so mom had to go back down, go to work, and during the work week, her L&S is not open long enough for her to get there. So Saturday, she went and she got her floss, and I believe she got all the called for colors of her floss, or for the floss, but she switched up the fabric. I switched up the fabric and like 90% of the colors, because the colors that are called for are like, this is a good picture of the first one that I'm working on. Like the pinks, and down here is more like of a minty green that you can't see, and I wasn't a real big fan of this like yellowish tan color. So I switched out almost all the colors, but here's my progress so far. And I am stitching this on 28 count vintage smoky white linen, which is the same thing I'm stitching the Be Happy jar on. That was a scrap from the animals I made my sister. I'm doing 2 over 2 and I love it. It's so fun. And my sister and my mom and I are texting each other at night. Here's my progress for the night going to bed. Here's what I got done during nap time. Here's what I got done during my lunch break. So that's a lot of fun. I will show you, I'll just hold up my colors really quickly. And I'm probably gonna run into the same issue I just had with, you know, the dye lots being different, because there's one in here that I need like 2 or 3 skeins of, and I only have 1 skein. And I got that from my sister's L&S, so when I order it from 123 Stitch or Etsy or wherever, it's for sure gonna be a different. Let's see, so I'm just gonna throw them. I'm not gonna name them. If you're interested, just send me a message. Ooh, they're tangled. And the reds. So those are my colors. I love them. I think they scream Christmas, like a classic Christmas, which is what I was going for. So if I finish this video in time and Nugs is still sleeping, I will be working on that. Oh, so, also besides being a stitch along with my sister and my mom, that part 1 is my June challenge for cross stitch camp, hosted by the Colorado stitcher Sherry. I believe Sherry is her name. If you're not familiar with cross stitch camp, she goes over it in her latest Flosstube video, so I'll link that below. And there's also a Facebook group that I've joined. But every month she posts a challenge, and you have to find a piece that you've never started to start that coincides with that challenge theme. And you have to start it during the month of June, and you have to finish it by the June 30th. And then post a picture on Instagram of your floss and your fabric and your pattern before you start, and then after you finish, and tag her both times and use the hashtag cross stitch camp, and then you're entered into a giveaway for different prizes and stuff. I don't know what the prizes are yet, but there is a challenge for June. There's a challenge for July, and there's a challenge for August. So the June challenge was a start based on inspiration. So I was inspired by the pattern I saw at the cross stitch shop by my sister. So that's where how I'm tying that one into the June challenge. The July challenge is a new to you designer, I believe. So a designer you haven't stitched before. And then the August challenge is either a new fabric or a new floss. And so I know what I'm doing for that. I have to figure out what I'm going to do for July. And then if you are successful for the June, July, and August challenges, you do all three, and you complete them on time, then you're entered into a drawing for like a grand prize giveaway. So that'll be fun. Okay, and then the last thing that's a whip is actually a quilting whip. So let me get it out. Okay, so my husband smokes cigars. I know some of you out there think it's disgusting. My parents don't like it. It is what it is. I'm not going to be able to change that habit, so I've just accepted it. But he number one, never done around the baby, ever, ever, ever. She's always in bed. But usually, and it's just a seasonal thing for him because we live in Michigan and he is so not allowed to do that in the house or the garage, so it's got to be outside. And I usually end up sitting with him, but like spring evenings and fall evenings, it's quite cold out there. And I'm like, yeah, come on, you should smoke a cigar. It's nice outside. I'll sit with you and cross stitch or whatever. So we go out there, and like halfway through the cigar, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in. How mad would you be if I go inside? How disappointed would you be if I ditch you? Because like this is a constant thing, because every time he grabs a cigar, he said, "You're gonna stay outside with me for the whole thing? Are you gonna last outside through the duration of the cigar? Do you need a long cigar or a short cigar? How are you feeling tonight?" And I felt bad, and I wanted to stay out with him, but it was just, you know, cold. Like, I'll put a sweatshirt on, but I don't want to get one of my quilts because it smells like cigar smoke. You know, your clothes smell like it. Any kind of linen or material is going to smell like it. So I end up ditching him because I don't want to bring one of my quilts outside. Because when you bring it inside, you're going to have to wash it, and that quilt's going to get washed a lot and used a lot. And not that I don't use my quilts, obviously, you know, I use them all the time, but I just didn't want to use it that much. And so I was like, what can I do? Well, I have a whole tub of fabric in my sewing room that I tried to destash over the summer, and I sold a good bit of it, but I still have a ton left. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make an ugly quilt. I'm gonna make a quilt out of some of this fabric that I just don't care at all about. And if it gets dirty, who cares? If I wash it so much the seams start to fall apart, who cares? If somehow he drops ash on it and it gets a little hole, who cares? Because it's an ugly quilt. And so I think during winter, if you live in a cold climate, you already know this, but you're supposed to keep... Oh crap, the baby's up. Pause, please. Okay, she settled herself down, so we're gonna continue and hope that I can finish this video, because otherwise it's gonna be nighttime with really, really bad lighting. Okay, so I was saying the ugly quilt, you know, oh, so if you live in a cold climate, you know that in winter, you're supposed to keep just like survival stuff in the car, like a warm blanket, maybe some granola bars, that kind of thing. So I do have this cheap little fleece thing from Walmart, which is fine. It was like literally $2, but fleece is super warm. But I think in the winter, I won't be using this quilt outside at all because my husband doesn't smoke cigars in the winter and I'm not partying outside in the winter. So this quilt is gonna stay in my car, so I'll always have a handmade quilt with me, so that's pretty special. So anyway, no offense if this fabric is your style, it's not my style. There's, you know, our differences are what makes us unique and amazing and fun, but this is not my style of fabric, but I'm using it. Actually, one of them I really do like, and I'll tell you which one that is. But so these are some strips that I've pieced together so far. So I cut them into 2.5-inch strips, and I'm sewing 6 of them together. And I'm making in a scrappy around the world quilt. So if you search on Instagram the hashtag around the world quilt, or no, trip around the world, I don't know, I'll put it here. But if you search on Instagram that hashtag, you'll find tons and tons and tons of these. So here's another one that I did. And then here's the third one I did. So the fabric that I actually do like in all of this is this gray strip. It's got like blue-gray flowers and pink flowers. It reminds me a lot of Amy Butler. None of this is Amy Butler fabric, but I do like Amy Butler. Okay, that is my last whip, I believe, yes. Okay, on to my Flosstube feature. So my Flosstube feature this week is Cassie Jo Stitches. Here's her name. She is from Michigan. She's a mom. I believe she has 3 kids. And every once in a while, her daughter will show up on her Instagram with a little project that she made and she stitched. And she's pretty young. I don't know, I would say maybe like 6, 7, or 8 years old. So it's pretty cool that her daughter is interested in cross stitch. Since the weather has been nice lately in Michigan, she's been filming her videos in her backyard, which is beautiful. And I just really enjoy watching her. She has a lot of gorgeous projects. Oh my goodness. So just like I mentioned, you know, different strokes for different folks with the fabric. Same thing with cross stitch patterns. Some of the patterns she does I really like. Some of them are not my style, but I can still appreciate the artistry and the time and talent that goes into it. That being said, I have zero desire to ever stitch a memorabilia, like ever, ever, ever. However, she finished, I believe it's called Lady of the Flag, and it's this gorgeous woman in this huge flowy blue dress, and she's got the American flag she's hanging, it's all draped, and she did it on, I don't know if it's, maybe it's fabric flare, but it was some kind of cream fabric, and it had the Declaration of Independence and like a gray, like a faded gray in the background. Oh my God, is it gorgeous. That is enough to make me consider doing that memorabilia. I don't know. I obviously do not need another project, but holy moly. If nothing else, you need to go check out her channel and look for the video that has the memorabilia finished, because it is just stunning. Oh, and she's just barely in the under 1,000 subs club. She's at 989 subscribers, and I just checked before I filmed the video. So if just 11 of you go over, like her video, or subscribe, she'll hit 1,000. That would be amazing. So she's great. Go check her out if you haven't already. And if you have any YouTubes that you subscribe to, any channels you subscribe to that have less than 1,000 subscribers, please link them, or don't link them below. You don't have to do that, but tell me their names in the comments, because I am struggling to find people in the under 1,000 subs club. A lot of the videos I've subscribed to have like 1.5 thousand subscribers or 2.3 thousand subscribers. Not like tons and tons, but enough that they're not in the under 1,000 subs club. And I'm trying to keep all my Flosstube features to people in that club. So if you have a suggestion, leave it below. And plus, I love watching Flosstube. It's usually on the in the background while I'm playing with my daughter, or reading or cleaning or whatever. So okay, so haul. I have a lot. Let's start with this. And surprisingly, I didn't buy most of it. So how do you like them apples? Okay, let's start with my Mother's Day. So I got the Be Happy pattern, which I've started, and I showed you the picture. The one, and then I got another one, but I don't have it with me here, so I'll just show you that next time if I remember. Actually, I'll just post a picture here. I bought it from Etsy. I think it's called United We Stand. It's Americana. It's very modern. It's all in different little blocks and shapes, but I loved it. I love just the uniformity of it. I love the repetition of the different designs over. So, and then this is the one that I really was excited about. It is called, and you may have heard of this. I don't know how long it's been around, but it's called Letters from Mom by Jeanette Douglas Designs, and it's actually like a 12 or 13 part series, And so there are different little postcards you stitch that have words of wisdom and advice for your kid, and you stick them inside this envelope. She shows you how to finish it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch that, probably not in the called for colors because that's not really bright enough for my style. But I'm going to stitch it and make it an envelope, and then I'm going to handwrite some letters to my daughter throughout her life, not necessarily only on like important milestones like her birthday or first communion or, you know, that kind of thing, but just little updates. And they don't necessarily have to be long letters. They might just be, you know, a paragraph here, a few sentences there. But I thought, what a cool gift to give her. I don't know when I'll give it to her. I don't know if it'll be graduation from high school, graduation from college, when she gets married, but at some point I'll give it to her. And I think that is such a sweet idea. And you know, one day I'll be gone, Lord willing, way after she has kids. Yeah, so I thought that was just a really sweet idea. And hopefully she likes it. I'm sure she will. Okay, so that was all I got for Mother's Day. And then when I was in Florida, I went to a shop, and I believe it was in Fort Myers, Florida, and it's called the Golden Needle. And so I looked around and I got Primitive Santa by Teresa Kogut. And I don't care for the called for colors. I looked them up in the shop, so I'll just end up buying my own. And then I got this piece of fabric, and it's a fat eighth. It's a little bit bigger than fat eighth. 25 count Stormy Night. Lugana. So it is printed. So this side it's gray, and it has some modeling. That's pretty true. And then the back is just plain. So obviously I will be stitching on the front. But that's my first piece of, I believe, my first piece of printed fabric like that, where one side's printed and the back side is not. I'll probably do some kind of Halloween thing, I'm feeling like. I feel like it would lend itself to Halloween. And then all my other stash is from my lovely and generous sister, Mandy, that I mentioned earlier. So she put all her cross stitch patterns and charts into binders and organized them, and then there were quite a few that she'd already stitched or that she wasn't going to stitch, and she let me have my pick. So she already stitched, and I believe my mom also already stitched these, and these are the Halloween Rules by Lizzie Kate. And so she has all of them. So she gave me all of those. So that's definitely on a to-do list at some point. I guess it's called Happy 4th of July by the Tiny Modernist. She stitched this one. Very cute. Little sheep. Sheep is one of the animals my daughter knows. So I'll ask her, what does a sheep say? And she goes, bah. And then all these chalk fulls from Hands On Design. There's 3 of them. 2 of them she didn't stitch. I think she stitched this one. I'm not totally positive, but I think so. So that one was the Harvest. This one is Hip Hop. She does not decorate for Easter, so she did not stitch this one. And then this one is Snowy Chalk Full, and she does not get snow in Louisiana, so she is not stitching this one. But I think that one is adorable. And then this one, maybe my mom gave it to her. I think somebody gave it to her, but it's not really her style. It's Teresa Kogut, Happy Scarecrow. The picture is deceiving because I guess it's not too large, but if you stitch it on 35 count linen 2/2, it comes out to be 8 1/4 by 5 1/4 inches. So it's quite large. And then the last one I have, this is actually a quilt pattern, and I think she got it at our quilt retreat, and I was there and I was like, oh my goodness, you need to give that to me when you're done. Well, she finished it a while ago, but I just got the pattern while I was down there. It's called August Stars, and you use a ruler to make all those stars and cut the stars and stuff. So that's gorgeous. It's on my to-do list one day. You know, that infamous to-do list. One day I'll get to it. Another thing. Oh, so I won a giveaway from Priscilla and Chelsea this past weekend. I won their new chart. I believe it's called For the Birds. I'll put a picture of that here. But that was exciting. They called my name and I was like, oh, that's me. Actually, my mom texted me. She's like, if you have not watched Priscilla and Chelsea, you need to watch them. So I was like, okay, well, I watched half of it, but then the baby woke up, so I had to stop. So I put it on. And I was like, oh my gosh, I won. So that was exciting. And then Crystal messaged me from Crystal Rowe on Flosstube. She messaged me on Instagram. She's like, if you haven't seen Priscilla and Chelsea, you should really watch them. And then I won another gift. This is like, oh, I'll have to tell you a story after this if I remember. I won another little prize on Instagram. So there's a page I follow called Moonlight Quilters. And it's a quilt shop. And they posted a picture. They do this every once in a while. And they posted a picture of a fabric order. And they said, where in the world is this going? It's going to, I think they said the continental US or a state in the US. And I was scrolling through all the states, and they hadn't all been guessed. And I was like, well, Louisiana hasn't been guessed and Michigan hasn't been guessed. I used to live in Louisiana. I currently live in Michigan. Which one should I choose? So I went with Michigan and I won. I don't know what I won yet because they sent it on Tuesday. Actually, it might be in the mail today. Today's Monday. They sent it last Tuesday after Memorial Day. But I'll have that. I'll post it on Instagram. So if you're interested, you can follow me there at the Gym Stitchery. But if not, I'll post it or I'll show it my next Flosstube at the end of June. Oh, and so I had like this super lucky weekend 2 weekends ago, I think. So my husband and I love to do coffee dates, and we like to do them alone without the baby, but my in-laws weren't in town yet, so we took her along and we went somewhere else. Oh, we went to this park by the coffee shop because it was like 20 minutes south. So we found this cool park, took her there for like an hour, then we went on a coffee date. We're sitting outside because it's gorgeous, and I'm walking around with her just to keep her busy. And I stopped and I looked down. There's a $20 bill just chilling in the middle of the road. There's nobody around, obviously. Otherwise, I would have asked, you know, hey, did you drop something? But man, not $1, $20 bill. That's crazy. That's like the first time that's ever happened to me. So that was exciting. And then, oh crap, I just forgot. Oh, we do like Walmart pickup all the time now. And there have been quite a few times that we've gotten things from other people's order. Thankfully, like things we can use because you can't return them. They don't, I mean, if you give it back to them, they're going to throw it away. So you may as well eat it. Well, this time we got $24 worth of free food. And because the first thing I do when I get something that's not in my order is I scroll through my app and I'm like, did I pay for that? Because I definitely did not order that. Because if I pay for it and I didn't order it, then I'm going to return it. But I didn't pay for it. We got like a 15-ounce bag of Ghirardelli dark chocolate caramel sea salt chocolates. That was like 12 bucks. That's not my thing. I don't like caramel, so my husband's enjoying those. But then we got like a 30-ounce bag of Blue Diamond dark chocolate almonds. That's another 12 bucks. They're delicious. So I don't know if this is a curse or a blessing, because now that I've had them, I'm gonna want to add them to my Walmart order, and that's like 12 bucks, and that's not in the budget. But maybe it'll have to be a treat every once in a while. But I was like on cloud 9 after that weekend. $24 on a Walmart order, $20 in the parking lot, $44 later on Sunday, I'm richer. That was pretty cool. Okay, last thing I have to share with you. So I made my project bag on steroids, and my mom and my sister were like, I want one, I want one. So I made them each one for Mother's Day, and I posted those on Instagram already, so if you follow me there, you've already seen them. But if not, here's the one I made for my sister. I made it, she and I have a lot of, our fabric taste is very similar, so it was easy to pick something for her. So I made it almost exclusively out of Heather Ross fabric. I started off with a cat print for her because she loves cats. And then I picked all the other prints from there. I love the frogs so much. Love the frogs. She loved it. She jumped up and down. When she gets excited, she hits. Like, she's like, oh, Megan, no way, Megan, I'm so excited. And she just like backhands you the whole time. That's how you know she's really excited. So I made her that one. And then my mom, we do not have similar fabric tastes. Like, I'm calling this my ugly quilt, and she's probably on the other side of the video saying, oh my God, Megan, I love those fabrics. So I was like, crap, I'm gonna shop my stash, so I'm not buying any fabric. What do I have that she would like? And I came up with this, like if you're from New Orleans Pride is big and strong. And so I had some New Orleans fabric that coincidentally she had given me for the tricentennial, the 300th birthday of New Orleans or Louisiana, I can't remember. Anyway, she sent it to me and she sent me like a yard. That was a lot, so I did not need that much. So I used that, and then I used some solid red fabric someone had given me, and a fat quarter of red fleur-de-lis fabric that someone had given me, and then some black fabric for the binding. So there's a picture of that. She loved it. I left it at my sister's because I didn't want to ship it, and I was going down anyway. So I was like, Mom, are you okay with, you know, a late Mother's Day gift? She's like, yeah, of course. So she picked it up over Memorial Day, and I video chatted her while she got it, and she loved it. So that was fun. She must have said thank you in like 6 times in 6 minutes or something. So, and she was texting me pictures like, hey, I put this project in this bag and this project in this pocket. So she's had fun filling up the pockets. But I decided, I've enjoyed making them, and they're really, really fun and useful, that I have made 3 that I'm going to sell in my Etsy shop this Friday, June 11th maybe, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so here is the first one. And I love this like goldeny orange color. Oops. That I used for the binding, only the outside. The inside I used some like charcoal gray, so it's got the black separating zipper. And then there's this pink rusty dot white graded fabric for the inside lining. And then here's a pocket. Here's a pocket. So these are 2 different fabrics. These are the 2 fabrics I used for the pouches and this bag. And then they just repeat. So project bag option number 1. Project bag option number 2 is my favorite of the 3 that are for sale. Carrie Bloomston, I used all of her fabric, I think. Yeah, she is my second favorite fabric designer. My first is Carolyn Friedlander, but all of this is Carrie Bloomston fabric from my stash. So butterflies, and then up here is a little like newsprint strip fabric, and then use the newspaper inside. And I'm gonna be straight up honest, this was a complete coincidence, but it is like almost perfectly straight. So how perfect is that? And then I put my little tag. I forgot my tag in the first bag, and I was not about to start ripping. So the first bag does not have a tag, but this one does. Oh, and I love this pink fabric. And this one all has the yellow for the binding. And then these blue stars. And then same as the pink fabric, but all gray triangles. And then those 2 are reversed. And then some pink. And more newsprint. Love that one. That's a hard one to get rid of or to sell. Okay, and then this last one is gardening and caning and veggies. And then for all the binding on this pouch, I use this printed word fabric. So it has a white zipper here. And then inside, I use the same fabric for the lining. And I got my tag again. And I got some tomato fabrics. And then we have some green veggie patch fabric and some yellow veggie patch fabric. And a bunch of veggies. And then the green and the yellow are reversed. And the tomatoes. So those are the 3 that will be for sale. And then I have another one all cut. But I ordered some zippers on Amazon, and I thought they were the separating zippers that I could use here, and they are not. And the only kind of separating zippers I do have are black, and black will not go with this fabric pull. I want white. So I have to order those and wait for those to come in. So this will not be listed in my Etsy shop on Friday, but it will be listed in the future. So this will be the outside, the front and the back, and the lining inside. Then these are the 3 fabrics that I'm going to use for the pockets inside. So it's going to match really well with the red and the strawberries and the pink and the strawberries and little flowers. And these frogs are stinking adorable. And then for the binding, for all of the binding, it's going to be this blue. It's a Moda Grunge. So it'll be that. So super cute, very summery. So as soon as that separating zipper gets here, I'll finish that off and list it in my Etsy shop. So I'll list my Etsy shop below. You can favorite a shop and then you get notifications when things are listed or new things are added to the shop. And then I have a couple small zipper pouches, not project bags, that I'm going to list in my shop as well. So this is the first one. So this exact same style, just different fabric placements. So these are cute little orange tangerine fabrics. Here's the zipper. And then an orange speckled fabric inside. Okay, the next one has this little patchwork. This is some of my ice dyed fabric that was in the quilt that was on the wall that fell. And these 2 little kiddos that I fussy kit from the Spectacle line by Christian, ooh, gosh, what is his name? I should know this because like his line, Robinson. His fabric line Spectacle is like the cutest thing in the world. And then this is the lining. It's got a gold zipper. Okay, the next one has Heather Ross. So these are all from her Kinder line of fabric that were left over from a quilt. That's for sale in my Etsy shop. Little frogs, little apples. And then this one has like a brassy antique zipper. And these pink and orange triangles inside. This one is for all you bee lovers out there. It has bees and these gorgeous little flowers. And then I use the bee fabric for the handle as well. And all the handles are quilted. And it has a gold zipper up top. And the lining for this one is a navy blue. And I do have, I think, 4 or 5 more of these cut out. I just haven't sewn them together yet. And I think I'm going to list this one. This is like my pride and joy, like the Carrie Bloomston butterfly project bag. If you're a quilter, then this is for you because this is all selvages. Got sprinkle, kind and steel. You make my heart flutter. This is the Spectacle line by Christian Robinson I was talking about. Rifle Paper Company. Some cotton and steel down here. Carrie Bloomston. More Carrie Bloomston. Christian Robinson. This is the Spectacle line with the little kiddos I fussy cut for the other bag. Is it possible to dream a new color? And then a newsprint. Eclectic elements. And so this one I actually quilted this portion of the bag, and it has this cute little thread looking spool and the striped zipper. Oh my gosh, I love the striped zipper. This is a really hard one to let go of. Whoops. My light died. That's okay because I'm nearly done. And then inside I have just this beige triangle fabric. So, okay. My father-in-law called me. He never calls. My husband's currently calling me, so I think there's something I need to answer or speak about. And I'm done for now, guys. That was a lot. This is a long video, and if you stuck through the whole thing, thank you very much. If you're interested in more of what I'm stitching or quilting, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at thegymstitchery.com, and I will see you in a month. Bye, guys, and happy stitching!